Real truth daily. This is Daily Truths with Dave Ahlman.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Daily Truths. Yesterday, we talked about the basic premise that God can make the impossible possible. Today, we talk about something very similar, but from a little different perspective. And what is that? You're going to find out. We talked yesterday about the challenges and problems that we face in everyday life. And yesterday we said sometimes the solutions seem impossible, but God can make the impossible possible. So today we talk about the challenges and trials and difficulties and things that are overwhelming that we face. And not only can God make the impossible possible, but you're going to find out what the basic tenet of what we're talking about today is. So we pick up the book of John, chapter 6. And remember, Jesus is by a mountain. He's with his disciples. All these people are approaching. Jesus said, oh my goodness, here they come. We're going to have to feed them. And then Philip said, even if we go to town, we could never buy enough food for people to eat. Maybe they'd get a little bit. And then Jesus, we pick it up here. This is verse 8. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said to him, there's a boy here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. But what are they for so many? Jesus said to them, have the people sit down. In other words, he was saying, I've got a plan. How many times did people from their earthly perspective not understand God's plan, but God had the thing under control completely? Think about the Red Sea. The people are heading towards the Red Sea in the Old Testament. Pharaoh has released them. He gets a change of heart. The people come to the Red Sea. Pharaoh and his army is approaching. They're ready to engulf and overcome the people. The Red Sea is in front of them. They start to complaining. They say, we should have stayed in Egypt, but God had a plan. And Moses parted the Red Sea through the power of God, and they walked through it. And then the Egyptians followed, and they were covered up by the water. God had a plan. What about when Jesus was approaching the disciples in the middle of the night on the Sea of Galilee? They thought he was a ghost. Jesus said, take courage, it is I. And then Peter said, Lord, if it's really you, tell me to get out of the boat. And he did. Well, God had a plan. Jesus had a plan there too, right? He knew that Peter was going to fall into the ocean. He was going to fall into the sea. And Jesus walked over there, lifted it up, and said, why did you ever doubt? Oh, you have little faith, right? Okay, so Jesus always has a plan in the midst of the things we don't understand. Think about Pentecost. 3,000 people are baptized in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit that day. Jerusalem swelled from 50,000 to 250,000 because of the festival of Pentecost. And now these people become ongoing ambassadors for Christ to wherever they're from. God had a plan. And what about Jesus when he's in the Garden of Gethsemane and he's sweating drops of blood? Because he can look into the future and see what's going to happen. He can see the nails, the spear, the crucifixion, the pain, suffering the guilt and shame of all sinful mankind. He said in his humility and in his humanity, Father, if it be your will, take this cup of suffering away from me, yet not my will, but yours be done. And what was Jesus basically saying? I trust you implicitly, and I know you have a plan. God has a plan for you too, in the midst of whatever you're going through in life that doesn't make sense, that from your perspective, you can't figure it out. God has a plan. Can you trust him today? No matter what you're facing, can you trust him implicitly with your life? As you know, one of my favorite verses is Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, and it says this, trust in the Lord with just part of your heart. No. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, in all your future decisions, in everything that comes your way in the future, in all your ways, trust in him, and he'll make your path straight. Oh, man. So we trust in the Lord. And I think of that man who came to Jesus, and his son was possessed, and Jesus said, do you believe in the Son of Man? And he said, Lord, I believe. Shore up my unbelief. That's what Jesus needs to do with us, too. In the midst of things we don't understand and can't comprehend, Jesus is telling us in the midst of all of that, I have a plan. And you can trust me. The disciples had no idea what Jesus was going to do when he told all those people to sit down. but he had a plan. And they didn't argue with him, debate with him. They didn't say, what are you doing? This is ridiculous. No, they trusted the Lord, and may it be so with you today and in all the days ahead. Let it be so, and let it be done to the glory of God's holy and saving name. And that is today's Daily Truth.
Thank you for tuning in to Daily Truths with Dave Ahlman. Pastor Dave Ahlman is the pastor of Mount Hope Church in Boulder, Colorado. If this ministry is blessing you, please consider supporting us by sharing this channel with a friend. You can also like, comment, subscribe, or leave a review. This helps us tremendously. Come back tomorrow for your next Daily Truth.